Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Welcome to the Hostile Podcast.
No, stop. Just because I'm very pissed about this episode doesn't mean we have to start that way. It's a gradual ramp up of anger.
Sorry, you're right. I gotta, realign my chakras and just really get deep into it.
Oh my god. Okay, speaking of that, though.
How do you have a segue for everything?
Hi, welcome to me being a Gemini. I just always have something to pull out of my pocket.
Oh my god.
So, I have considered myself, blissfully unaware about Game of Thrones.
Sure,
I know about the show by proxy because I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
And y'all don't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
And, that's fine or whatever. Anyways, Chris, I almost called him Christopher. Who the fuck? My partner, Christopher, fucking put on Game of Thrones on Sunday. And I was like, all right, well, I'm here.
Right.
I'll just watch this, I guess. And I had made the mistake, I don't give a fuck about that show. I watched the first episode where that incesty fuck, yeets that kid out the window, and I was like, I can't. And
I need you to give one-sentence reviews of things that you don't know about forever.
So I made the mistake on Sunday of watching a 15-minute review about Game of Thrones up until this point. Because I was like, I don't know what happened to me. I was bored. Chris left me for 2 seconds, and so I watched this video. And Cody, I do need to report that this show is Catherine Hardwicke level of blue.
Oh no. I feel like I do remember that, because I've only seen the first season, and that was a while ago. But I do remember that being a very cyan experience.
It is
very dark cyan experience.
It was very much like a Blue Man Group experience. That is my one sentence review of a show that I've never really watched.
I have been really enjoying, in addition to the Game of Thrones discourse that I don't understand, all of the people that I follow that watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh my god, same.
Which I do not like that show, and I couldn't make it through 4 episodes, because I did not like it. But I know people that watch it kind of like the way that a lot of people watch Riverdale. It's just guilty pleasure fun. But people were watching the second season that just came out, and there's so many tweets that were trying to watch Chilling Adventures of Sabrina with full brightness, and they still couldn't see a damn thing. Apparently that show is so dark.
Okay, but that's the thing though. So I didn't realize this until after I tweeted it, that you could have taken it 2 different ways. But I watched this episode, and it was the darkest piece of television I've ever seen. Literally, I could not see it.
Yeah.
And I watched Supernatural actively.
Right.
And that show is what I thought anyways was the darkest TV show to exist.
Yeah, you would think.
In content as well as brightness level. And then I watched 1 episode of Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh, they're fucking coming for their neck.
Yeah.
Welcome to Into the Twilight, by the way.
Hell yeah. Where we talk about every other relevant pop culture show.
What if this was just a troll podcast? People thought that we were talking about Twilight, and it was actually about everything else.
I gotcha.
Is that anything?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you're here, so...
Got him.
I fucking got him. Did it. Cody, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm alright. It's one of those days where I got off work a little earlier than usual, and I got the nice seat at the back of the train that you can see, there's a big window, and you can just see it as you go by, and the sun was beautiful, and the weather was nice, and it was just mwah.
That sounds idyllic.
Yeah.
So, I love a good idyllic little experience there.
Yeah. It was a little nice slice of life.
Right. I also received this is just for you all listeners. I received a little piece of fun fact trivia from Cody today by Twitter, and I've learned that someone in the political environment of Chicago is a Tumblr fangirl from about 7 years ago.
I'm so glad you brought this up. So, to catch everyone up to speed on Chicago politics, Toni Preckwinkle is the Cook County Board president.
Sorry, what? What is their last name?
Preckwinkle.
Oh my god, I thought you said Pringle.
Yes, Toni Pringle. She's the Cook County Board president. She ran for mayor, and she lost quite immensely to Lori Lightfoot in the last election.
These are all fake names.
Yes. welcome to the space. And she apparently it's National, like, take control of your stress day or whatever. I don't know.
It's fucking National beat the shit out of your stress day, I guess. Like,
unwind, crack open it cold one day. I don't know.
It is Bud Light Lime Day.
But now that Preckwinkle's not, like, running this very aggressive mayoral campaign that she's been doing for the past, like, few months, she's unwinding, and she's having a great time on Twitter. She's posting a lot of photos of her dog. She's doing a lot of stuff, whatever. But today, she posted a photo about fucking stress, and she's like, you should manage your stress. I'm drinking tea out of my inspirational mug. And she took a photo of it, and the mug was a keep calm and carry on mug, and I can't stop thinking about it. It haunts every time I close my eyes. It's there. I can't.
Sometimes I remember, how much of my time I spent on Tumblr in late high school, early college, and that makes me want to die. But then I remember some of the, like, things that were fads at that time, like keep calm and carry on, and I'm just like, ooh, no.
Oh my god, did I tell you about the guy who had a keep calm and carry on tattoo?
No.
There was a guy it was like I think it was like a sophomore year college class that I had. He came to America to come to the school or whatever. I think it was probably like spring, so people were like wearing their shorts and stuff, and it was great. Everyone's having a great time outside. And this dude wearing shorts has a full, like, back of his calf tattooed that says keep calm and carry on. Like on both legs? No, it's all in one go. One calf.
The legs would have been an aesthetic choice.
Just keep calm on one calf and carry on the other.
You know, like the Tumblr bro version of the little bow tattoos.
Fuck y'all, I'm getting a tramp stamp that says keep calm and carry on.
Oh my god, did I ever tell you about the person that thought my carry on tattoo was about keep calm and carry on?
Oh no.
Holy shit. Okay, background for you all listening. One of the first tattoos I ever got is, it says carry on in this script that both tattoos on my forearms do. Mm-hmm. And I got it, like, right after one of my friends, like, partners committed suicide. Like, I got it because of Supernatural, like, in the carry on wayward son. Anyways, like, it made sense to me with, like, the semicolon and whatever the fuck.
Right, yeah.
I got this before I got the one on my right arm that has, that, like, continues the phrase. Mm-hmm. And someone came up to me and was like, oh my god, I love your tattoo. And I was like, thank you. Like, it means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. They were like, I say keep calm, carry on all the time. And I was like, I need to leave.
I actually would like a new body now. I fucked up this one.
I need to return my life, I guess, and start over.
Yeah. I'm just a nomad now. I don't have a name or celestial body. Yeah. I have to leave.
Speaking of celestial bodies, I'm gonna go see High Life tomorrow.
Hit him with that transition.
Yeah, so by the time that this comes out, I'll have watched High Life, and I'm expecting it to be very good.
I expect you to be vaping the whole time in Robert's honor.
Actually, I have asthma, so that's not gonna happen.
Alright, can you just puff on your inhaler a few times to get the same effect?
I'll just dab one out.
Yeah.
This is for you, Robert. Just take a big old puff. But not too.
I need you to take a video of you doing that in the theater. And then post it to Twitter. I need it.
Oh man, that's so good.
Then I'm gonna send it to every major museum because it's high art.
Oh fuck, that's so good.
Oh,
be like, God. Yeah, I vape. How is that not something I've seen on the internet before?
Right. I mean, if Vine were still here, rip.
That's true. And I guess it's not nuanced and memey enough to be... Also, I was saying, like, memeing enough, and that sounded like I pronounced meme like Mimi, and that... Anyway.
Meme.
It's not meme enough for TikTok, so... Oh, fuck. Okay. So we do actually have some current events.
Surprising.
Fuck. Where do we even want to start? This is just so much. I mean, I think we have to start off with Arpats, since we're already talking about him.
Yeah, let's do it.
The most important video has come to light. It is on our Twitter.
So watch it.
If you need to see it. But it is like a 1 minute, 15 second YouTube video of just the best thing I've ever seen of Arpats not giving a flying fuck.
I'm waiting for the Criterion release. It's a perfect film.
Yeah, so
it's got highs and lows.
It does. At the end of High Life, all these fans came up to Arpats to like get stuff signed, and it's a very pure and quite innocent video.
Yeah.
For the first, like, I don't know, 45 seconds or something. And then you just see this person who's taking this video pan over to this fan who's like, hey, Arpats, can you sign this for me? And it's just a fucking, like, I think it was a headshot or just like a still from a Twilight movie. And he was like, actually, fuck you. Just leaves, which I loved.
Yeah. What
so
a
good.
hero.
What a mood, honestly. Of just like, nah, I think I'm good, actually.
Yeah. I appreciate, your time, and thank you for supporting my art or whatever. But go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to talk about this next one, since you tweeted about
Boy, do I!
Because I have palpitations.
I'm so fucking overwhelmed. So, we've been talking about this Charlie's Angels reboot.
For forever.
For forever. And we will talk about it for the next 7 months until it comes out.
Yep. And after that, I guarantee.
And then probably we'll never stop, depending on how good it is. But it's the one with our gal K-Stu and Elizabeth Banks is producing it or whatever and directing and all this shit. There are photos that came out, and it like broke my brain when I first saw them. Most importantly, this photo of the whole squad, but K-Stu in the front with this cheetah print jumpsuit. I'm now seeing that I think it's a top and a pants situation.
It does look like a jumpsuit from the get-go, though.
Right. Initially looks like a jumpsuit, but just looks like sheer loungewear, just like hell yeah, but also fully cheetah print and fully outside. And it's so good. You
ever just wear loungewear and loafers?
Hell yeah. Photo shoot? Listen, if you were Kristen Stewart, I wouldn't wear anything, first of all, but like, it would just exist. But like, fuck it. You could just, if you look like that, you can wear whatever and still be so attractive, and no one would question it. And there's so many other stills. Also, I did not know this, but Noah fucking Centimana is in it.
I did not realize that either until I scrolled down, and I want to fucking freak out.
Fucking Noah Centimeters in this, and like
Noah Centipede.
Yeah, which like I don't know. Live your
same.
Truth, I guess that's fine.
He's playing very much like a Chris Hemsworth vibe.
Yeah.
In this movie, it seems like,
and he's fine. He's just cringy, and that's loud, I guess.
Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah. Can we talk about, in this still of all four of them, this like crop top high-waisted pant number that's happening in the back?
Yes.
Because fuck.
This little like I don't know what the proper term of it, but the like slit down the middle is very good. There's like a ruffled edge, and it's really nice. I'm a huge
Welcome
fan.
to Fashion Corner.
God, we are just fashion experts over here.
Yeah, but the one thing you posted on our Twitter is like an actual still from the movie.
Yeah.
Of all of Charlie's Angels, and it's just the hottest thing I've ever seen, basically.
I just want them all to beat me up.
Same. Because K-Stu is doing this like scrunched up face that it's just like, like nobody... that's not okay. Stop.
And they're all wearing like fingerless gloves, and like they have guns, and it's like in a hot way, not a scary way.
Yeah, it's very much in like a Mad Max Fury Road.
Right, in just like a raw lesbian way and not...
yeah, not in like a pro-gun way.
Yeah. Only lesbians are allowed to have guns. That's my gun
rule,
stance.
They're the only ones that can be trusted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen.
You know who can't be trusted?
Oh, shit. Segway City.
I
roll them out.
On my Segway right now. Vaping on my inhaler.
Buckle up, everyone. You are not ready for the Segway that Allie's about to deliver.
All right. This sounds like me making another one of my conspiracy theories, but I promise you I didn't do this. The Sun did, which, like, all right, they're kind of trashy anyway. But,
sure.
So I guess a week ago, when you're listening to this, E.L. James released her new book titled The Mister, which we've talked a little bit about.
Yeah.
But the reviews are starting to come out, and folks, there is a conspiracy theory from The Sun that says that this book is apparently based on Meghan Markle, and I want to die.
Yeah. None of this is good.
No.
Because it's supposed to be, like, we talked about it as kind of like, what, a Cinderella retelling or something like that?
That's what it sounds like,
right? Yeah. And so I guess the Sun is kind of pulling like, oh, well, Meghan Markle had a very Cinderella story-esque, rise to her life now, which, like, sure. Marry a prince, that's, that's what happens. That's the rules.
One of the things that is so buck wild to me about this is, one, someone let E.L. James keep writing.
Yeah, that's...
But two, the fact that I saw someone describe The Mister as, like, less sex and more social commentary, and E.L. James cannot be trusted with social commentary of any kind.
No, honey. I do like this bottom thing that's like, what are the reviews for The Mister? And it says, so far there aren't any reviews for The Mister.
Which is not true anymore.
Yeah, well, not true anymore, yeah. But they're like, well, maybe tomorrow they'll come out, because embargo, probably. But there's also a fucking typo in this. Who copy edited this?
One of the things so I'm looking at Dana Schwartz's review of The Mister that's on Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
And the thing that is buck wild to me about this is Dana lets us know right away that this book does not have any BDSM in it, which, interesting.
Sure.
Apparently, Dana also mentions that there's nothing kinkier in this aside from anal sex, which, like, alright, E.L. James, you've toned it down a little bit. But it does seem like there is some attempt for, like, social awareness in here, which is wild. Like, you could have just done a Cinderella retelling, E.L. James.
That's, like, not your wheelhouse, E.L.
Agreed.
That's not your shtick.
Yeah, just stick to what you know. And, as my Lord and Savior says, stick to the status quo.
Oh, my God. My Lord and Savior.
My JCO from the sky.
Allie's only God is High School Musical.
That's true. Holy shit. Okay, I have to tell you about something so important that happened today. Here's a quick little middle school corner for us. So, I'm having my 8th grade English students do these, like, book talks to make sure to encourage them and develop their presentation skills, whatever the fuck.
Sure. Yeah.
And also I'm tired of grading quizzes. It's fine. So one of my kids today, because they have to sign up to do these, one of my kids presented today with their book talk, and Cody, they decided to do a book talk on the Old Testament.
Oh my God.
And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen, because my student just, like, Googled a picture of Jesus Christ and, like, put it on the fucking board. Wow. And was just like, here are all the buck wild things that happen in the Old Testament. And I was like, whoa.
I wish I could have seen that show.
It was a hoot and a half, I'll tell you that.
Holy shit.
But it was very good. Out of context, it looked like I had a student just preaching about religion in my class, but it was hilarious nonetheless. All right. We do have a question today that comes from Taylor Browntown Lautner, Braver Than the Rains.
Salute.
The question is that you might have discussed this before, but what made y'all want to start the podcast?
Ooh.
It's been so long.
God, yeah. But I feel like I remember it so viscerally. I
do too. Why don't you tell your side of the story? Because I find that more interesting.
Oh, cute. So I remember, Allie and I have been, like, internet friends, like, nebulous internet friends for a while. Yes. And we didn't, like, know each other super closely, but, like, we knew each other's friends. We had friends of friends. We interacted somewhat on the internet.
Yes.
Knew each other's hashtag content.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I remember one day, it might have been on Twitter or something, and you were like, I need someone to just, like, brainstorm with me and just figure out some shit, because I got so many projects and so many ideas, and I just want to figure it out. And I'm like, I also have that. Let's talk. Let's do some shit.
These are what I like to call my brain crack moments, where I just shoot the shit.
I forgot what it was called, but yes, it was called a brain crack, and I was like, I'm in. Let's go. And so we were, like, doing stuff. I think most of it at that time was, like, femtube stuff.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I needed to throw some shit on the wall and see what stuck.
And then, over the course of it, it had come to Allie's attention that I had never read or seen Twilight. And that broke Allie down. She was so mad about it. And then we were like, this is a good idea for a podcast. I at least was, like, very excited about it, because I'm like, no, this is good, because I don't know shit and you know everything. This is really funny.
That's really how podcasts start.
That's how most podcasts start. And then, we had some other calls after that and figured shit out, and here we are, baby.
Yeah, almost 3 years later. Ugh, what the fuck?
Jesus.
I always forget. I'm like, oh damn, when did this start? And then I'm like, oh yeah, 2016. Before time.
The war.
Before the war.
It was such simpler times.
In case you all were curious, I have not had a brain crack moment since that time. That's any indication of the world that we are living in right now.
I haven't had time to think of new ideas. I'm just trying to stay alive.
Honestly. But yeah, so it ended up working out really well. The weirdest thing about that... And I feel like if we ever get to a point where people are asking us, like, regular questions, or God forbid there's ever, like, a live thing, and someone asks, like, how did you all meet? And I'd be like, I don't fucking know. All I knew is at some point I stared following you on Twitter, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is, like, we have a friend, Mel, who I think was, like, in the middle of our Venn diagram. And...
if you asked me to trace down any of my internet friendships, I could not do it.
No, God.
I don't know how any of this happens. We're just here.
Yeah.
We made it this long.
Yep.
I don't know.
We out here.
Oh,
God. All right. So we've got the last episode of you.
We made it. We made it.
I keep calling
Tooth
it us.
and nail. No, I wish you were talking about us.
I know. When I went to tweet out for questions today, I was like, all right, we're about to watch the last episode of Us. What questions do you have about us? And then I was like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
If you could describe this episode in 3 words, what would it be?
Oh, God. Can I do 4?
Please.
Glass cage of emotion.
Stop!
I think I made that joke last time, but this time it's more present. It is much more related.
I'm gonna say a writer's hell.
Yeah. Oh, no, fuck it. I can do it in 2. Stockholm Syndrome.
Well, yeah, that too.
Stockholm Syndrome revenge? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome, and then the last word is just question marks.
Yeah, no, it's Stockholm Syndrome M dash. And a bunch of question marks.
Oh, God. Okay, so this is the last episode of the first season. We do know that there's a second season coming.
Yeah.
And
who knows when that will be?
Honestly, who knows? It does have the girl from The Haunting of Hill House, right? I remember that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this episode is titled Bluebeard's Castle, and like, fuck off. First of all, like, fuck off. I hate this. And
hey, real quick, fuck off.
Yeah, I haven't thought about Bluebeard since college. Yeah, I guess. And just the idea of like it. I don't know. This felt like a very Twilight thing to me, of like a very overt title.
Right. Like, do you get it? Do you get it?
He's gonna kill her. Do you get it?
Do you? Hey.
Same. So last week, right? He did the damn thing. He kidnapped her after Beck found out about all the teeth that he had kept up in his ceiling.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just so unfair because it's just teeth, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're being way harsh, Beck.
So...
Everyone has a fucking mason jar full of rotting old teeth.
It's just like a normal thing, Beck. I don't understand why you're making a big deal.
Yeah, ever been on Pinterest? Come on.
Stop! Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's what did me in. I had to close my Pinterest account after seeing someone just decorate dead teeth, you know?
Yeah,
it was gross.
Sure.
So, like, right off the bat, when this episode gets started, like, Beck is like, oh, shit, I'm in the box. Oh, shit, everyone thinks I'm on a writer's retreat. Yeah. This is fucked. And then Joe makes it quickly clear that this is just, like, her being punished for what she did, but he still wants to, like, fuck her.
Yeah.
And, like, he still wants to get back together with her, and it felt awful to have him describe that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, like, mementos conversation where he's like, I don't understand why you think that me keeping your underwear is weird, Beck. You have a t-shirt of Nirvana. That's a memento. Me with your dirty underwear is also a memento. I don't understand what the problem is.
I mean, we all know that Joe is incredibly delusional, but it's really honed in on this episode that he, like, truly does not understand that any of this shit is bad. And I think this is the most explicit the show has been at, like, almost critiquing it. I feel like throughout this season it's been very passive, or it's just been like, but that's just Joe, you know? He's a little weirdo, but he loves her, so it's fine. Right. This one I feel like, at least from Beck's perspective and from the show's perspective, it feels a bit more like, this is bad, right?
Yeah. It definitely, to me, it came off in very much a, like, we are going to show this because it's a problem.
Yeah.
Kind of
and,
thing.
like, right. And, like, when you see him compare, like, oh, you sleep in, like, my old t-shirts, you know? Like, that's the same as having your panties. It's like, no, what?
No.
What?
No, Joe.
That I keep in a little box in my bathroom like an animal in the ceiling.
Not at all suspicious. That's not where suspicious
with
things
teeth
go.
And your cell phone and also everything from all of your friends and people you fucked before. Like keepsakes.
Keepsakes, you know?
We all have little trinkets and things from memory lane.
Listen, Beck, you might have the whisper of a rose tucked into an old poetry book because you're an awful cliche.
Yeah.
But me, I like to have real things attached to memories, Beck. And maybe that is your underwear. I don't understand why you're making it a big deal.
Yeah, fucking relax.
One of the things that I hated the most about this, and this is where, to me, it felt very obvious that this was like a more of a critiquing episode.
Yeah.
Of when he's like, I understand that you're in a glass box right now. And listen, I get that you don't want to be here, but Beck, I'm doing this to keep you safe. And it was like, ooh, no.
No. It's such like a weird, I don't know. It's very strange to watch because you see him be like totally trying to like make this like rationalize this in his brain.
Right.
And the way that he like so easily does it is, like, really hard to watch.
Yeah,
and so how
terrifying.
Instantaneously it is. And even when Beck is, like, quote-unquote pretending, or even in the first bit of it where she may actually have, like, Stockholm Syndrome, where it seems like she's actually kind of receptive to some of it, right? Where it's like, I don't know, she has a, you know, is terrified, but is also, like, has all these deep connections with this guy, and this is the first, like, quote-unquote real relationship she's had with someone, and it feels like those two pulling at each other is very weird and nebulous. It's just like so much.
It is so much. Yeah. The thing about this episode that to me felt the most disrespectful, and that's saying something because he's kept his girlfriend in a box.
That's the baseline here.
Is when he gives Beck the pee bucket.
Yeah.
And is like, you know what you need to do right now, Beck? You need to write. And I'm going to give you this typewriter, and you are going to write in this glass box, and you don't get any breaks from your writing. You just need to create right now. Because nothing says creativity like being stuck in a box.
Yeah. It's him with this fucking, like, God complex where he just thinks that, like, everything he's doing, A, is for her, and also that he's just trying to help, you know? Ugh. That he thinks that, right?
Right.
And so he's like, oh, this is really good. I can just have her in this solitary place, and she, with a typewriter, totally analog, no social media, all these things that are totally plaguing her mind and ruining her fucking life and our relationship, and she can just be free of all these things and just make the best fucking writing of her life. Ugh. Not fully understanding that she is, like, imprisoned his girlfriend.
Right.
Because also, I guess, like, you're also seeing this level, too, where we keep getting flashbacks of him and being locked in this glass cage of emotions by Mr. Mooney, literally. Right?
Yeah.
And so I guess, like, yeah, that's a huge part of his trauma and his backstory that maybe is making him rationalize this, too. Because he's like, oh, you know, if I didn't have that, I would, like, didn't have those experiences, then I would have not been where I am today. Because, like, he didn't have a family, and Mr. Mooney was all he had, and it made him grow or whatever. But he's, like, not cognizant of the fact that was, like, a very abusive situation and power dynamic between them, right? And so he's like, well, this worked for me, and I turned out great, so it'll be fine. Yeah. Again, he's also not thinking too ahead of these things, as he always does.
The thing that, for me, pisses me off the most about that is coming from someone who identifies as a creative person. Uh-huh. Being forced to create in that manner, given not only the emotions that she's going through of, like, oh, my life is literally on the line.
Yep.
But also, like, when I thought I was going to be a writer in college, the last thing I ever wanted to do was write.
Yeah.
And so if you fucking put me in a box where the only option I can do is look at these classics but not really touch them, write or pee, what? No. Where's my Twitter? Where's cleaning my house instead of writing?
I'm gonna pee on all your books, fucking dude.
Fuck you, Joe.
Eat shit, Joe. You can't stop me.
I'm gonna look at you and piss on these books like I'm a cat.
Yeah. Like, take that, first edition Dickens. Eat shit.
Eat my
literally.
Shit. Literally. So the thing that I guess just shows how much Joe doesn't give a fuck is he's like, all right, babe, you're going to write a great American novel in here, BRB. And then he just, like, dips to go take care of, like, Claudia and Paco. Okay.
It's like, don't worry. Just give me, like, 8 hours, and I'll be right back.
It's basically the same thing that he did with Benji, like, dying in the car. And he was like, I'll deal with that later.
That's a later me problem.
That's an evening problem. Yeah. So, Claudia and Paco, the thing that sucks about this, right, is, like, there's so many abusive relationships happening here. But Claudia gets just fucking beat to hell by Ron. And now Joe thinks that he has to step in and, like, take care of this situation, which, like, sorry, you are the least qualified person.
Right.
The thing, okay, if I'm going to be honest, the thing that upsets me the most about this episode is Paco.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Tyra Banks. Like, I believed in him.
Just a reminder, in this episode, we've seen Beck get trapped in a cage where she's forced to piss in a bucket. And the worst thing about this is this tiny, tiny boy that we love so much.
Listen, I believed in Paco. I didn't believe in Beck. I believed in Paco.
That's true. Beck gave us nothing to root for.
The way that Joe portrays her is a very awful, one-dimensional character. And so I don't...
But Paco, we had a pipe dream. We just...
That's true.
There was something to root for. Yeah.
He's a little boy, and Joe believed in him, and therefore he got more screen time.
Yeah.
And so Paco, of course, sees his mom get beat to hell by Ron. Is like, you know what the best case scenario is to finally kill this motherfucker I've been talking about for so long. Paco, your adolescent squishy brain just doesn't really think about consequences. But sure. And, of course, Ron, an adult man who's maybe a probation officer, we still don't know, but is, like, a known abuser, is like, well, fuck you, kid. I guess it's time to fight. And, of course, Joe steps in because he has to solve this problem, and then just, like, fucking stabs Ron. Sir, haven't you killed enough?
Yeah, I was so flabbergasted at that point, because I'm like, at this point, he is so caught up with all of this shit. And he is, like, and at this point, I think we find out about the PI. Or
we do?
So, like, he's on edge because he's like, fuck, I'm gonna get got soon, and I need to cover my tracks. And then he fucking kills a man in broad daylight. It's like, motherfucker, cut the brakes. Leave it alone. There's another way to handle this, maybe. Don't kill someone. And maybe not in front of this tiny boy.
Yeah, he does it in front of Paco, which
Paco
like, definitely
is watching.
won't scar him.
No,
Jesus.
This won't traumatize you at all. Don't worry about it.
Can you talk to us more about this PI situation?
Oh my god. So, did y'all forget about Peach? Because we haven't.
Because we never will.
We never will. And apparently we figured this out from the friends.
Yes.
Right. So, in this whole escapade of Joe not seeing Beck for a full day, he goes to chat with the friends, the shitty friends. And he's like, oh my god, have you guys seen Beck? Like, I'm so nervous. I haven't heard from her. We had this big fight, and it was this whole thing, and I'm so sad. And they're like, don't worry, Joe. She's on a writing retreat. Haven't you heard? And he's like, oh, I'm super bummed and sad, because we had a fight, and, like, I caught her cheating on me with her therapist, and they were like, oh my god, Joe, what? I thought you were endgame. And it was the worst thing I've ever seen, and I hated every minute of it. But through that conversation, we find out that Peach's family, the Salingers, have hired a PI because, in their words, a Salinger would never commit suicide.
I cannot with this family.
It's so much. And it adds to that creepy layer of that one voiceover that was like, imagine you're in this beautiful, like, aristocratic, like, classic family, but you're gay, and that's bad. And also it's like, you would never kill yourself. It's like, oh, what's going on? It's bad. Jesus. And so now Joe's on edge because he's like, shit. And also we find out that he's for sure, like, didn't cover his tracks because he pissed in a jar.
Oh my god.
When he was
piss
at
jar.
The mansion or whatever, and he gets this flashback. He's like, oh shit, I forgot about the jar.
The piss.
The piss jar.
He's just on his knees in the middle of Brooklyn being like, my piss. It's like,
I should have kept it in. I should have pissed my pants.
Oh god. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So Beck Beck. So bless her heart, she is in a survival mindset.
Yes.
As awful as that is.
Yeah.
But she does try to escape the glass box at some point. Now, to be fair, she does a pretty sucky job at it. Because she's like, Joe, I really need to use a bathroom that has, like, real toilet paper and not, instead of these, like, paper towels that you gave me. And I just, like, really need to go. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, she's, like, making up all these excuses or whatever the fuck. But then it's just, like, looking exactly what she's thinking about.
Yeah, her eyes just keep moving from one side to the next.
Yeah, she's like, Joe, whatever will take you to open this door. I just want to fuck you so bad. But she's just like, her eyes are, it's like in a cartoon where her irises have changed to words and she's just like, help. Anyways, it wasn't great. Yeah. Now, I think it is worth talking about the fact that her mindset changes a little bit in this episode of like, well, Joe is unhinged, and me making attempts to escape and plead to his empathy are definitely not going to work.
Right, because that doesn't exist.
No. So the only thing that's going to work is if I play into his hand here, under the guise of still loving him or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And so this, like, she ends up writing basically this cover story for Joe. Mm-hmm. That, like, instead of Joe being the one that killed everybody, it was her therapist, Uncle Jesse.
And, who loves the good yogurt.
Yes, and also the good weed.
Yeah.
And that, like, he's the bad guy who, like, killed everyone around her. And basically just gave him this alibi.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate that she has to do this, but, like, whatever. I think the thing that fucks me up about this is that Beck, like, finally gets out.
Right.
She's, like, schmoozing and being very manipulative and working her angles.
Yeah.
And finally trades places with Joe. Yeah. He is now in the glass box. She is out.
Glass cage of emotion.
The glass cage of emotion. Yeah. The thing that fucks me up about this is she's trying to survive, and so her brain isn't firing on all pistons here. Yeah. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to lock him in this box, and then I'm going to escape. Not realizing that, like, the basement door would have a lock, I guess. Right. And so she's like, oh, beans, I can't get out.
Oh, no.
And the fucked up thing about this, too, is, like, while she's trying to escape, and she has, like, Joe locked in there, she, like, hears Paco in the store. And I hate this part because Paco, like, opens the door.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time that I noticed it anyways, that there was, like, that metal door there, too.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever... At least I totally missed it.
I just don't think that it was shown before.
Yeah.
So Paco opens the door.
There's like 40 locks in here. Why? Yeah. Why is this supposed to door?
There's this prison bars basically set up to keep someone from leaving the basement to get to the door. And Beck's like, you gotta help me out, Paco. Like, you gotta call anyone.
Right.
Everyone.
Help me, please.
And in the ultimate, like, Joe fashion, he just turns away. And it kills me. Paco. God damn it. It kills me because it feels very much of like, oh, his grooming of this child has worked.
And that's, you know what, that's another fucked up thing too, where, like, part of this, I don't even remember if this is, like, when she's trying to get out, or she's still kind of, like, Stockholm-y a little bit.
It all blends together.
It all blurs and whatever. But she's trying to be like, oh, to Joe when she's in the cage. And she's like, well, Paco, what are you gonna do about Paco? Like, if Ron's whatever fucking up and Claudia's not there, like,
right,
you're the only one that cares about Paco. You're the only one that Paco has left, and, like, we should, like, you know, make sure that Paco's, like, good and, like, can live for, well, you know, whatever, and be safe.
Right.
And, like, this whole fucking time, we're seeing this portrait of, like, Joe being the only thing in Paco's life, and Paco is just, like, totally fucked otherwise. Where, like, Claudia loves Paco. Claudia is just is in a emotionally and physically abusive relationship and also has addiction issues. Like, those are very challenging things, and also doesn't detract that she loves her son and is trying to do the best for him.
She very obviously loves her son. Like,
right.
And she is just going through it.
She's just not always capable of being able to do that in a safe way.
Right.
Which, like, is totally understandable and whatever. But Joe also, like, is not the fucking prodigal son of, like, caring for Paco. Like,
no.
Remember when Joe was supposed to care for Paco and then he just kept fucking Beck for, like, a week straight and never hung out with Paco when Claudia was on her fucking shit? Come on. What?
Yeah, I don't understand his entitlement to Paco, other than, like, the obvious part of, like, oh, this is a new chance for me, but with boy.
Yeah. With boy. Like, congratulations, you killed a dude. That doesn't make you, like, someone who cares actively about this kid's life.
No. And I couldn't help but think about during this part of when Claudia was, like, in the hospital and Karen was, like, trying to take care of stuff, and it was, like, literally his job to, like, take care of Paco's safety, and he didn't give a flying fuck.
No.
So it's only when he feels like he can, like, step in and rescue does it matter, and I hate that.
And that interaction with him and Claudia in the hospital was, like, so fucking infuriating that, like, she was, like, so close to being on her deathbed, and he was just, like, screaming at her for not caring about Paco and fucking it up and all this shit, for letting Ron back in and everything. And she's like, motherfucker, like, you are not his father. Like, this is not your son. This is not your son. Like, I'm figuring shit out and it's not going great, but I also don't need to be fucking accosted when I just, like, got the shit beaten out of me. All right? Yeah. Like, and I'm in the hospital. I'm on a hospital bed in hospital gowns. Please do not yell at me.
Sorry, I have a hospital gown out. My ass is showing to everyone. You cannot yell at me right now.
You don't have the right to yell at me. That's the law.
I am wearing those anti-slip socks that the hospital gave me. You do not dare raise your voice to me right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You listen here, kiddo. You don't fucking yell at me.
No.
In a hospital gown.
The audacity.
Good Lord.
God. Oh, you can tell he just doesn't have a filter when he does that.
Yeah, Jesus.
All right, so the ending of this.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, Paco doesn't open the door, and it's, like, very obvious when you're watching this. Like, well,
bye-bye.
Season wrap on Beck.
Thanks, Paco, for being complicit in a murder.
For real. In 2 murders, Jesus.
That's true.
In all these murders.
Listen, Paco was a witness to one of them. Paco didn't actually murder. But by not opening that door, he did do a murder. And that's the law.
Well, yep, folks, you heard it here first. He did also get those murder supplies, so, like...
Fuck, you're right.
He's a little bit more involved than he should be.
Sure. I love to think that he was blissfully unaware and just, like, he's like, I'm gonna do some errands for my good friend Joe, and he's gonna love me and get me the 3 Musketeers, and we're gonna have fun. And he's like, buy a stick of dynamite and rope, and like,
and buy an anvil, please. And please
cyanide.
ignore the coyote following you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Beck gets got.
Yeah, well, surprising to no one.
Surprise. And it goes great for Joe and no one else.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
The ending of this fucks me up.
Yeah.
So Beck wrote this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, under the guise that it would get her out of this cage so she could leave.
Yeah.
And then Joe kills her, saves her teeth, probably.
Sure, yeah.
And then, like, basically as soon as Paco leaves, the story, like, skips forward a couple months.
Yeah.
And what we see is this, like, book show like event happening in the bookstore, where we now know that like Beck's gone got.
Yeah.
But they're celebrating her book, and I hate this.
Yeah. I don't know if you paused it, but there's like, so Joe is like he's doing this little narration of like, oh, I wish you were here to see this because everyone loves your book and it's awful. But he's making this little display at Mooney's, and he's, there's a bunch of copies of her book and stuff, and there's also this big like poster or whatever. And I paused it to read what it said.
Oh, goody.
And it was basically like, well, Guinevere Beck was mostly known for dying tragically at very young age. Oh my god! But what was not as well known was her like incredible ability to write and like all of this shit. It is it's like so awful. It's so bad. And I'm just imagining Joe fucking smugly typing this bullshit and printing it on a giant ass poster. It's awful. And it's like a collection of essays and all this shit. And also we see fucking John Stamos get got.
Oh my god. It's so wild that, like, this book gets published. Yeah. Everyone is, like, lamenting her death. Joe is all, like, in it because he's a narcissist and just, like, lets Uncle Jesse get taken away for smoking a doob, which is his only crime because it's illegal and also against God. But
that's God's law.
Listen, it's not my law, it's God's law. Sorry, the Bible says. But Joe is like fine with it because he just wipes his hands and is like, well, that sucks.
And it was so like everything has been so easy for him up to this point, which is rude because he's very bad at murder.
He's an awful murderer, objectively.
It's not the satisfying way, like the same way that like How to Get Away with Murder and all those shows are very satisfying because everything is so like specifically neatly tidied up and done to like the exact millisecond, right? And it's satisfying to see those things like get covered up or whatever, like in a fictional setting, obviously, and be like, wow, that, I'm glad it worked out for them or whatever. I'm glad they did their crime. But this one, he didn't deserve any of it. He like just accidentally killed a bunch of people and was like, fuck it, I guess I'll wing it, and then everything was fine. Like he had police on him and private investigators and all this shit questioning him, and he had like evidence out the wazoo that could have just totally done him in. But he just skates by on a very easy frame, and it's really annoying.
Just like a typical white man, you know what I mean?
Am I right? Am I right?
So how does this episode, this season finale, end?
So, we're back. It's basically like a repeat of the first few minutes of this show in its entirety, where it's been a little bit, and Joe's still working at Mooney's, and a pretty lady walks in, and he's like, "Oh, let me do this whole thing again, where I psychoanalyze you, and I don't know who you are, but I am now madly in love with you and obsessed with you." It's like, oh, you don't want to be seen because you're wearing a hoodie. But also, you're wearing a short skirt, so you kind of want attention. And it's like, Joe, literally jump off a cliff and never return.
Please, God.
And then we find out that it's fucking Candace.
Holy shit.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. In the most lukewarm twist ever.
Truly. I hope she fucking guts him in the first episode of season 2.
It's what we deserve.
I just fucking gut him and run away with the first woman you see, Candace.
Take out his guts and eat them.
And put them in a box in your ceiling.
Yeah.
God. So that's season 1.
Heyo.
Yikes.
We did it.
We did the damn thing. Next week, we're gonna go back in time a little bit.
We're gonna take it back.
We're gonna rewind it real quick.
Take it back now, y'all.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
Everybody clap your hands. I actually hate this.
Me too. You did it, though.
You also did.
Listen, I thought it, but you did it. So, okay, so we're going to read the book, starting next week, the first 2 chapters.
I gotta buy this book.
Me too. Ugh.
And I'm upset.
I don't want to support this, but here we are. Do you know who I'm happy supports us, though?
Ooh, segue. Back at it again.
You thought I was gone,
damn.
but I'm back.
God damn.
God, okay, so we have our lovely patrons to thank today. I am going to start off today with, and we have now a complete Salinger family, I guess.
Yeah, all the Salingers are here.
I would like to first thank Sophia Salinger. Hello. Hi. Your quiz this week is... Dun, dun, dun. Wait, are you actually Bran Stark?
Who can say?
Who's to know, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Aaron Salinger. Whoa. Who's gonna be... You've always suspected that your personality matches a cupcake. Now we'll tell you which one.
Oh my god.
Haven't you always suspected?
What type of cupcake are you?
Oh god. I know this. I am vanilla cake chocolate icing.
Oh. If I was trying to think better of myself, I'm a dark chocolate cupcake with a caramel filling.
Ooh, yeah.
But what I actually am is a funfetti cupcake, so...
Oh, yeah. But funfetti's good. There's some moments.
Yeah. Actually, if I'm being honest, I'm the funfetti cake batter. Let's be real.
Just in a spoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love a good raw egg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just guzzle them down. All right. Thank you to Alex Blythe, who is, choose between these TV love triangles and we'll tell you why you're single.
Wow. Okay.
So,
get on it, Alex.
Oh, God.
I was calling you out.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to Marie Mooney.
Bow, bow, bow.
Who's going to be plan your dream vacation and we'll reveal what staple crop you are.
Oh my God. Shout out to Taylor Browntown Lautner, Braver Than the Marines.
Salute.
Taylor, your quiz this week is take this quiz to find out which aquamarine character you are.
Oh, hell yes. Aquamarine fucking rules.
Aquamarine fucks. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Katie Weber.
Wow, wow, wow.
Who's gonna be... There's so many to choose from. Hold on one moment.
There's so many.
There's so much content here. We'll guess your favorite childhood toy based on which Justice outfit you pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Katie Weber.
I just did that. You're on Simon Steele.
What? Fuck. No. You know what? Fuck you. Katie gets extra love today.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Katie. Keep doing you.
All right. All right, Simon. More yoked than I always imagine you are, Steele.
Simon, bring out the gun, Steele.
Simon, exception to the lesbian gun rule, Steele.
Simon, who could kick my ass so easily, Steele.
Simon, who I would give up my seat on the subway for, because I'm afraid.
Easily.
Sir, sorry.
It would be an honor, Simon.
Okay. Sorry, Simon. We're objectifying you. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my fault. Okay, Simon, so your quiz is, we know which muffin flavor matches your personality based on the ice cream sundae you build.
Ooh.
It's very nuanced. Oh, God. Okay, so in a surprising turn of events, I have a fan fiction today for you that was sent by Taylor Browntown Lautner.
Hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure I didn't read this one last week.
Okay.
Okay, so this is by Sunflowers and Honey on the award-winning Archive of Our Own.
The Hugo. Did they win or were they just nominated?
I think they were just a nominated.
Okay, I was going to say, I was going to lose my mind.
This is titled Safe from Your Demons, and it was published 2 months ago.
Hell yeah.
All right, here's a summary for you. Bookstores were her safe haven, an escape from reality, a million portals into new worlds. And when Rose meets a certain bookworm, well, she just has to keep coming back to see him. Little does she know that Mooney's bookstore was a spider's web, a trap into Joe's cold clutches. So this is from Joe's point of view. I knew I was going back in the cage. I've been in trouble with Mr. Mooney enough times to know what would get me in there. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Not when my mind is elsewhere. Searching my mind for those sweet moments with her, with Rose. It didn't take me long at all to find her name. For Christ's sake, it was embroidered onto her handbag. How could I not find out? But what a perfect name it is for her. Everything about her is intoxicating, beautiful, just like a rose. The way she looked at me, emerald eyes searching my own, it was exciting. And I can't forget her eagerness to defend me against Mr. Mooney's false claims. She seemed to care about me. Did she care? End scene.
Great.
I feel like Joe's eternal question is like, hey, I just looked at someone accidentally. Does she want to fuck me? God. Fuck you, Joe.
Yeah.
For real, though. Well, as we say here in Seattle, give it. All right.
So
God. And get whipped, fuckers.
Ow.
Bye.
We're all dying. That's one dramatic pause, you know?
This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause, you can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrausFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith, you can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.